let's talk a little bit about the two players in question. Mainz reacted very strongly by suspending Ghazi, and Bayern didn't. And there was quite a bit of criticism coming Bayern's way. The president of Maccabi Germany, a club that we spoke about, or the umbrella organization of the clubs, including Maccabi Berlin, who we spoke about when they played in the German FA Cup round, the beginning of the season. He criticized Bayern for basically turning a blind eye to Mazraoui's position. What do you feel, Christoph? Did both clubs handle it right? Did one club handle it better than the other? What is your hunch about all of this?
You mentioned Alon Meyer, and I saw him in the Aktuelle Sportstudio on German TV because he was a guest there in the studio, and said he was totally disappointed by Bayern. He found it absolutely unacceptable, and was saying that there were no real apologies from Mazraoui from what he said, and when you look at it, the press release is so it's very political, so that the player doesn't have to apologize. The club is taking a position, and actually, I didn't find it very convincing how Bayern handled it, and maybe in private. I mean, we haven't been at the discussion between the club and the player and what he said, and but to me it felt a bit dubious, and gave me the impression of no, we can't lose another player because we already haven't enough of them, and Thomas Tuchel will kill us if we take away another player, and so on. So yeah, I mean, coming back to Alon Meyer, he on the other side, in general, praised Bayern Munich, how they about the relation to the Jewish community in Munich, and in general in Germany, being very supportive, and so on and so on. But yeah, it was it didn't look as if they were being consequent, really.
So cynics are suggesting that this was more of a sporting decision rather than a
it looked like
one driven by social concerns. Well, as you said, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. We don't know how genuine Mazraoui was in explaining his position, and that perhaps distinguishing between his support for the Palestinians and saying that doesn't translate into hostility towards Israel necessarily, or to supporting terrorist group. We have to assume, I think, that he was genuine. Bayern seemed to feel so. We should also say that Bayern consulted with experts on Islam to look at the verse from the Quran that he cited. They spoke to the Board of Deputies of Jews in Germany to get an opinion. So I think they made it a quite thorough process, even if some sporting considerations might have also played a role. But I think the difference with Ghazi was that, from speaking to somebody who was close to the process, was that the club never felt that they had a real understanding, or that they could find any common ground with the player. The player was of a certain view, and Mainz, I think, tried to explain why, especially the phrase "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," something very problematic, can be seen as denying the right of existence to Israel, can be seen as a very incendiary and perhaps even a criminal offense in Germany. We might see people prosecuted for that. And my understanding is that the player did just not really understand what the problem is, and they couldn't really find any kind of compromise with him so far.